The phone call was recorded at 11:47 p.m. What Jennifer Gledhill said during that conversation would later become one of the most chilling pieces of evidence in a case that stunned Utah, and it would help seal her fate. On September 28, 2024, Jennifer Gledhill contacted police to report her husband, Matthew Johnson, missing. By then, she had already confessed the truth to someone else. From the outside, Jennifer and Matthew appear to have it all. They lived in a $1 million home in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, raising 3 children, ages 11, 7, and 5. Matthew, 51, was a respected Green Beret in the Utah National Guard's 19th Special Forces Group. He had served for more than a decade. Fellow soldiers described him as steady, intelligent, and dependable, the kind of man others turned to for answers. Jennifer, 42, was seen as a devoted mother and supportive military spouse. Friends describe her as quiet, mostly a homebody. To neighbors, they were a successful, tight-knit family living a comfortable life in an upscale community. But beneath the surface, the marriage had been deteriorating for months. By July 2024, the couple had begun discussing divorce. Court documents would later describe a relationship that had become deeply dysfunctional. Arguments escalated. Tension grew. Trust had broken down. In August 2024, Jennifer filed for a temporary protective order against Matthew, claiming she needed protection from him. But when the case came before 3rd District Commissioner Russell Minus, the outcome didn't go as she had hoped. After reviewing the evidence, the commissioner determined that the videos Jennifer submitted showed her appearing unafraid and equally confrontational. Text messages revealed that she had repeatedly berated and belittled Matthew, at times seemingly trying to provoke him into a reaction. On September 16th, just days before everything would unravel, the protective order was dismissed. The commissioner noted that the couple's behavior reflected a highly dysfunctional marriage and suggested that divorce proceedings should be begun long before things reached that point. What no one in that courtroom knew was that Jennifer had already made a far more drastic decision. In the weeks leading up to mid-September, Matthew's behavior changed. Friends later said he appeared stressed and unsettled. Jennifer's actions had become so erratic that Matthew reportedly began sleeping at a National Guard facility at times because he felt uneasy at home. In one of his final conversations with a longtime friend, he said he had come to the conclusion that divorce was necessary. It was time to move on, but he would never get that chance. Jennifer had been living a double life. She was involved in an intense affair, not a casual encounter, but a relationship that consumed her emotionally. On September 19th, just 2 days before the killing, she showed her lover a loaded Glock 19X she kept in the house. At the time, it may not have seemed alarming. Many military households own firearms, but prosecutors would later argue that by then, she was already planning. She arranged for their 3 children to spend the night at her parent home on September 20th. The stage was set. That evening, Matthew confronted her. He had discovered the affair. Witnesses later reported hearing a heated argument. According to Jennifer's later statements, he was furious. Years of resentment and tension exploded in a single confrontation. In the early hours of September 21st, 2024, as Matthew slept in the master bedroom, Jennifer picked up his own 9mm handgun and shot him in the head. He never saw it coming. What followed, investigators say, was a calculated effort to erase what she had done. According to her confession, she placed Matthew's body into a rooftop storage container, dragged it down the stairs, and loaded it into the back of the family minivan. She smashed his phone. She drove his truck to a nearby neighborhood and abandoned it to create confusion about his whereabouts. Then she drove north. Somewhere in northern Utah, she buried her husband in a shallow grave. To this day, his body has not been recovered. When she returned home, the cleanup began. She bleached walls, scrubbed surfaces, used carpet cleaner in the master bedroom. She ordered a new mattress to replace the one stained with blood. Phone records later showed she purchased it on September 24th, just 3 days after shooting. But the crime might have remained hidden longer if not for one critical mistake. On September 22nd, just before midnight, Jennifer went to her lover's home and confessed. She told him she had killed Matthew. She described how she disposed of the body. She explained how she cleaned the house. During that conversation, he noticed bruises on her body. When he asked about them, she casually said they happened while burying her husband and cleaning up evidence. He was horrified. Unsure what to do, he recorded their next phone conversation, the one at 11:47 p.m., when he told her he was frightened by what she had admitted. Her response was disturbingly detached. She said that Matthew wasn't a person anymore. She spoke about him in the past tense, even though, officially, he was still just missing. She minimized what she had done. At one point, she told him not to see her as a monster and to remember who she was before she opened her mouth. The lack of visible remorse struck investigators later as deeply unsettling. 6 days after confessing to her lover, Jennifer finally reported Matthew missing. She told police that he had said he would be gone for a week and instructed her not to contact him. Meanwhile, the Utah National Guard had already begun searching when Matthew failed to report for duty on September 23rd. Unbeknownst to Jennifer, her lover had preserved everything: text messages, screenshots, recorded calls. On October 2nd, he contacted law enforcement. When Cottonwood Heights police executed a search warrant of the family home, they discovered evidence that contradicted Jennifer's story. In the master bedroom, investigators found a large blood stain beneath the bed. Blood was also present on the bed frame slats. The house smelled strongly of bleach. Reddish-brown spots were visible on walls and blinds, and the mattress was brand new. GPS data from Jennifer's phone showed her movements during the early morning hours after the killing. It placed her at the location where Matthew's truck had been abandoned. It also traced her path north toward Davis County, aligning with her own admission about burying the body. On October 2nd, 2024, Jennifer Gledhill was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. The case widened further. On October 24th, her parents, Thomas and Rosalie Gledhill, were also arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. Investigators discovered they had spent more than 5 hours at Jennifer's home during the period when she was allegedly cleaning up the crime scene, despite initially claiming they were there only briefly. Police later found a Glock 19X gun box wrapped in fabric inside a plastic container at their residence, matching the weapon Jennifer had previously shown her lover. Months have passed, but Matthew Johnson's body remains missing. Search efforts have stretched across multiple counties in northern Utah, involving law enforcement volunteers and Matthew's fellow soldiers. Even a vehicle storage container recovered from water reportedly contained his blood. Jennifer has pleaded not guilty to all charges. In addition to first-degree murder, she faces multiple counts of obstruction of justice, abuse or desecration of a human body, possession of a controlled substance, and tampering with a witness. Prosecutors argued she posed a danger to the community, revealing she had allegedly said she would rather shoot herself than go to jail. Bail was denied. She remains in custody at the Salt Lake County Jail. Adding another layer to the case is Matthew's $500,000 life insurance policy, with Jennifer named as beneficiary. With criminal proceedings ongoing and his body still unrecovered, the court will determine who, if anyone, receives the payout. Her trial is scheduled to begin on December 8th, 2025. At the center of it all are 3 children who have lost both parents, one to death, the other to incarceration. Prosecutors believe the motive was simple and devastating. Jennifer wanted freedom. Rather than face divorce, custody battles, and financial consequences, they argue she chose murder. Somewhere in northern Utah, a decorated soldier and father remains missing. And that 11:47 p.m. phone call, the one where she spoke about her husband as if he were already erased, may be the evidence that ensures she never walks free again. If you found this case fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We post crime case videos every day. If cases like this shake you to your core, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. More deep dive true crime investigations are on the way.